Put This On, Season 2, Episode 14, where we watch Married by Mom and Dad, Season 1, Episode 1. And I'm Chris Lorenz. Sitting to my right is...
Robert Kitts.
Sitting across from him is...
James.
Sitting next to him.
Harrison Hoffman.
And sitting to my left is...
I'm Manny, and I'm not bald.
Whoa.
You know, I'm looking around here, and a lot of people don't like the show. I thought the show was okay.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Chris.
I thought it, I think it might be worth another round, another episode.
I wouldn't do the full 10 eps.
I don't know. It depends on if it builds on itself.
Sure.
What do you like about this show? What
whoa,
what the hell do you
let's
like? What
bring
could
up
you
this-
possibly like about it? I don't. You got it. Give me
Let's-
one thing.
Let's bring up the description.
Name
and then
one
I'll
thing.
go into what I like about it.
You
Okay.
gotta name one thing.
I would like to apologize to all of our listeners who just had their ears destroyed.
Dude, this show is fucking garbage.
This
And
is
here's
mo-
why. Let's
this
get a
is-
description of it by Harrison Hoffman.
When all else fails, 4 singles seeking soulmates turn to people who know them best, their parents. In this series that features a contemporary take on voluntary arranged marriages. Unable to find long-term partners in a modern dating world, the participants allow mom and dad to vet potential future spouses before their kids meet them for the first time. The real work then begins as each single gets to know their partner's likes, dislikes, and everything in between. Married by Mom and Dad on TLC.
All right, so we know James hated it, and we know Max
I'll give
and
the show one thing, and it's they're great at editing.
They use a lot of great editing tricks in this one to make it seem like there's a lot more going on than really is going on.
Bravo. That's the only thing the show's done right. Everything else is
Rob,
just
what is
pure
your take
shit.
on this one?
I think I'm on the pretty good show side.
Oh god damn it.
Here's my core problem with the show. Like, I think that the pool of potential like partners that the parents are choosing from is way too thin. Like, you do not want to get married on a low budget TLC show that nobody watches because they're not going to be able to get a good pool of contestants.
First question, who in their right mind submits to this show?
Yeah, like it's already a crazy thing, but people do sign up for this kind of thing. The thing at the end of The Bachelorette is you're getting married to that girl. So like people do this sort of thing, but they don't do it for this nothing
For a
fucking
low-budget
show.
TLC show that no one's ever heard of.
They
And-
spend a lot of money on editing, so it's
and-
not like a low.
They have an amazing editor. Like that one person that did that, like hats off to you that you had to deal with this shit, but like put them on any other show and
This-
use those talents elsewhere.
This show is crazy low budget. This is the most low budget show you can make.
I don't
Like they didn't even like make clip packages for the potential suitors for these people. Like
That's true.
they just
That
like had
is-
this
that is true.
shitty looking webcam video out of the 90s that they
Yeah.
like,
You know, we just did Fear Factor Ludacris edition. Take out Ludacris as the host. I think Fear Factor was cheaper than this show.
yeah, I mean it's certainly possible. Certainly possible.
I mean, they're following these people for a while, though. It's not like, this is an 8-hour shoot. This is like they're spending a lot of time with these people.
but they're getting a whole season of content out of this, and like they're probably only shooting for a couple weeks.
Here's my problem with this show. My number one problem with this show.
Number
I
one.
feel like this is his fourth number one problem.
Number one problem.
Tell me, James.
When this show started out, I was okay with it. Until
I'm
they
glad you
introduced
gave it a
another
shot,
fucking
James.
character. Just like every episode should just be one person, one nuts person, and by the end of it you have some closure and you're moving on to the next one. And there's the next time on, whatever.
There's not
this
enough-
shit pissed me so like
You
I'm
think
so
that there's
angry.
Gonna be 10 different people on the show.
There's like a billion people and
They showed 3 people on this episode.
on this episode alone, but then in the
Then there'll be
on
3
this
people
season,
on the next
there's
one.
like a whole shitload.
No, I looked it up. There are a total of 4 people getting married on this show.
God. Ugh.
So you don't. So maybe they look at more people as the season goes on.
So there's
And
only-
it's not just like stuck to the first 3.
Like it seems like they're narrowing it down very quickly.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna get married in the first half of the season,
I don't
and then
think
the
so.
second half of the season is gonna be about them being married. Like
I mean, it could be, but I
married
don't
by
think
mom
so.
and dad.
At first sight.
at first sight. Well, that's not part of the requirement. There was one person on the show that has chosen to not meet any of the candidates before the wedding, so they have
Yeah.
no input into the decision.
She's a
at all.
Married at First Sight reject.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
She
So-
clearly applied for that show and was like, this is my thing. I want to do this. And she got rejected. So she's on
let
TLC's
me
version
tell
of
you
this
what
shit.
I like about the show before
Okay,
we
I'll
get too
take a look.
negative into this. Is I find it real. I think the people are real. I think the situation seems
Real
like,
low budget.
Well, it's low budget. They have real people instead of like paying actors. Like,
That one dude's definitely an actor and all his actor
Probably.
friends in LA.
but like the parents seem super real.
Oh, sure.
And,
Comb
like,
over? Neck
I
comb
love-
over? We talking
No,
about
that's,
neck comb
that's
over?
a different parent.
Oh, shit.
We're talking about the really great parent situation with the dad and the ex-wife and the new fiance.
Oh, the sideshow, the spin-off plot.
Yeah, spin-off plot.
Yeah,
We already
yeah.
got a-
I mean,
we already got a
realistically,
spin-off
how many
for the
times
show.
did it come up that we wanted a spin-off of the parents while we were watching this?
The-
Like 3 times.
The various parent subplots are way better than the actual plot of this show.
Yeah, but you've got 10 episodes to be with the parents. I'm sure more of it will come out.
Oh my gosh.
That's I think that's part of the thing that unlike Married at First Sight, the bride and groom are not the star of the show. The parents are the star of the show.
That's.
That's true.
I guess you kind of have to shift your mindset a little bit.
Yeah.
Into thinking about the parents a bit more.
And that's why it's like you said earlier, like, why would you go on the show to be married to this like low, thin talent pool? I think that's part of the appeal of the show is these parents like, oh my God, I got nothing to work with here.
Yeah, yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
try to find my idiot actor's son, a wife from these. Oh, what am I gonna do?
So-
and like, but the
That's-
parents,
that's
the
the
main
whole thing.
character. You're going through their journey.
So, for the audience, for example, there is one girl who her only real hard requirement is that the guy is not bald. And then the talent pool is so thin that like the parents end up with 2 out of the 3 finalists are bald guys.
And- well-
That's very telling. And the guy who is not bald didn't he didn't go to college. Like they're in the super crazy
And that was
like
their requirement.
yeah, and that was the parents' requirement, right?
Right, that he be educated and like well off in some
I
kind of work or
feel
something.
like there's going to be more people.
I don't think so, dude. I think it's done.
I think Rob's onto something where it's just like, hey, you have to choose. Okay, great. We're gonna give
Well,
you
they
a bunch of
already
idiots
ruled
or
the
like
one guy out. Like the one bald guy.
I don't know if like they didn't like them when they talked to him,
Right.
But then they didn't really like the second guy,
Right.
We haven't seen the interview with the third guy.
I think
So
they're gonna be
maybe
forced to go
He
on
might
more
be still in.
adventures.
He might be still in.
Dude, that rapper is going to be marrying that girl in a second.
Oh my
It's going to be
God.
insane.
How did he not drop any beats in that interview with the parents?
Maybe they did.
You got to keep that in. That's gold.
I feel like as a producer, you'd be like, you got to go in, make a rap. You gotta sing it to them right away. Got to sing that rap. They love it.
Oh
They love
yeah.
it.
If you're trying to impress the parents and you go in being like, what? How do you describe himself? He's like a vocal
He's a-
artist or something.
He said that he is a rapper and an entrepreneur.
But no,
That's what
he
said.
had some weird way of describing that he was a rapper, and he's like, like a rapper.
I'm a lyricist. man.
Lyricist.
Lyricist, yeah.
Oh, so
my God.
another thing I like about the show is it's like feels like a documentary kind of,
Like in the
But,
way
like,
they shoot it.
and the way they shoot it, and the
Yeah.
way it's like
It-
portrayed.
It definitely feels raw and like these things are actually happening, but like I just think it's a horrible situation to be in.
Right.
Like,
Well, we know you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
With women, Harrison.
oh
so,
yeah,
like,
that's right.
Wow.
Oh,
Shade.
Insane
Throne.
burn.
So we actually said the same thing.
I apologize.
We said the same thing about documentary with Married at First Sight, which is a far better show than this.
Oh, yes.
but it is a
I
sort
think
of
it's-
similar feel.
So I feel like Married at First Sight just is at the better part of the relationship of when they're actually meeting and trying to be together.
Here's the difference.
And this is like
No.
a weird like situation.
It's the fucking producers, man. Like, I feel like Married
No.
at First Sight was about like actually trying and to like put some thought and effort and research into the people and the matching and being like actually trying to make it a quality marriage or like at least have a shot
You-
at
you
that
had-
crazy thing.
you had
And
Dr.
this show
Pepper
is
running
the
those
opposite.
algorithms.
They
The
are
producers, like, I don't know, not know how they're sleeping.
they are stacking the deck against these people, I think.
Right. They're like, how can we fuck
I don't
with these
know.
people?
All of the girls for that one guy seemed really good.
For which guy?
The one we saw all 3 girls for.
Where
Do you want the names?
The dad and the mom and the stepmom.
Yeah.
AKA the only guy we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Okay, no,
the
you're right, I
guys, was
guess,
like
yeah.
the only one we saw all 3 girls for.
So there was some very different interview styles like coming from the parents.
Maybe we should go over a little bit more of the format of the show here. So
Yeah.
In this episode we see 3 people, 2 girls, 1 guy.
So I'll do a quick name. So there's the Fabier family, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong,
That
who
seems
live
right.
somewhere in upstate New York, and the woman's name is Mirovich, I think.
Yeah.
Then there's the Sargent family who live in L.A., and the son is Mitch, and he definitely seems like an aspiring actor based on his haircut and all his friends' haircuts. And then the third is the Rawlisons. Now this one is Christina, and she lives in Charleston, South Carolina, but she grew up in Charleston, West Virginia. And so her dad and stepmom are coming from West Virginia to South Carolina, Charleston to Charleston, to help her pick a guy. And it really seems like they may have never left West Virginia before in their life.
I made the
James
comment
could
during
not
the
get
show,
over
but
this.
like I couldn't believe the way they were packing their car for this road trip was just it looked like they were moving.
What are some of the things they brought with them on their
There
trip?
was a box that was half open. They couldn't even tape shut. There was a shoebox missing a lid. Like I don't even know what's in there. It looked like maybe there was a typewriter. I don't know what they're bringing. I didn't
typewriter?
see a suitcase at all, but there was just all this random shit.
So-
like they're going on a trip for I don't know what a month
The
or whatever this
funniest
is.
thing to me about this situation was James, because James couldn't stop talking about it for 5 minutes. We had to stop the show so James could get this out
losing
of
my
his
mind.
Get
I just really
yeah, but they could be bringing things like she left at home, because how often does she get back to West Virginia? Because God knows who the hell wants to
yeah.
go there.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't know. I was just just baffled
so,
at the amount of ridiculousness they were putting into this. It looks like they've never packed or gone on a trip ever.
it was pretty fun watching them pack up.
Watching almost all of the parents had its fun moments.
Yeah.
The parents are the interesting
I love
bit.
all the parents. The parents are so good.
The parents are the main characters. That's the thing.
The show's
that's
called Mom and Dad.
But
so,
it feels like how the parents are acting. It feels like they had to pick the kids first, because the kids have to sign up for it.
No, that's the thing. So the premise of the show is you meet the kid first, and they're kind of trying to explain why they've sort of made this decision to go for the arranged marriage route. And, Mitch was real. I found Mitch really strange. We talked to him. He's like, so through a friend, I got this opportunity to
Clearly
get a
he's-
marriage with through my parents, and it was and he kept referring to it as his opportunity, and it's like, what are you talking about?
He knows someone at the production company for
Exactly.
the show,
Yeah.
and
Definitely seems like the LA one is
He was definitely talking the most like this is oh he's on TV. This is his life. But anyway, so the kid sets it up, and then the kid introduces the parents, and then really from there you're more with the parents as they're talking about how they're gonna decide who to pick. They're watching videos, and they start meeting some of their better candidates, and as we talk about they have some very different interview techniques, let's say, in terms of how they're trying to sort of judge these people, and that's the show, at least so far. So we met 3 people. It seems there's at least one more person coming, but then there's more things coming down the road.
they definitely mentioned that they were going to meet each other before they chose. At least that's what the first girl said. Woman.
Marinovich.
Meredovich. I don't remember. Mirovich.
Mirovich.
I do
We
think
can just call her Mary.
I do think it's a little dry. It could be, I think, edited sped up a little bit.
Yeah, it could definitely be a little spicier.
It might just be the first episode. It had extra time.
yeah.
So
So, do you think that anyone who's on this show, maybe minus the parents, wants to be there? It seems like the people that they're putting up to actually get married, unclear if they're really interested in being married. Like the dude's talking about it's an opportunity. There's whatever. It seems like some of the people that they're interviewing, I just get a weird vibe that I just don't know if they're actually there to get married, and it's it's a weird situation.
Dude,
Everyone's
the
very
people-
nervous.
yeah.
so
oh
the
yeah.
The people that
in
aren't the
LA
main people don't even know who the other person is.
No, and there's would you are you willing to commit to marrying this person right now? And you're I've seen a picture on your cell phone of this person. Maybe.
Like not even guaranteed.
So the LA one definitely seems like it could go either way because, like, you know, the guy wants probably in LA to be an actor, so he's like, and all the girls are probably in LA to be an actor, and like this
Are they
reality
picking
show
from a local
contacts
pool?
you
There are people in LA who are
who
not
don't want to be
actors.
actors. I agree with you.
Right.
I
Some
do-
of them
I-
want to be screenwriters.
I do think that it's real. It like seems real, but I could see it go like where Harrison says it kind of could go either way. But I do think most people on the show actually want to be on the show. I don't think you submit
Well,
that like webcam.
They want to
video.
be on the show, but do they want to actually be married to this person for the rest of their life?
I feel like maybe some of them don't want to be married the rest of their life, but they wouldn't not get married.
I can't.
Sure.
Even, it's the scariest thing for them.
It is-
They
I
only get
cannot-
to meet the parents, and they have no idea who this person is.
I cannot imagine your state of mind when you make that video and submit it on this website. They're
You
just
think
like,
you know the
I don't
format?
care who it is. I want to get arranged marriage to somebody. Like,
Right.
Well, I think that
Arranged
you know
marriage.
when you apply to be either the host, like one of the main people, or you know you could be somebody they interview.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Like
it's-
I don't think there's like a separate process for you know. They're just like, hey, do you want to get? Are you sick of dating? Do you just want to get married? You know, maybe your parents will pick them, maybe they won't. Do you
and
like, care
then
either way?
and then someday you just get called up and it's just like, hey, so you didn't get picked to have your parents pick people, but somebody picked you to get married to them. So come on in.
Maybe.
maybe, yeah. I think that like you could choose. There's a checkbox whether you want to be.
Are you willing to
contacted-
be on the other side?
Yeah.
I mean, as we saw with the MTV calling cast last week, you don't really know what show you're going onto necessarily, at least for MTV.
This is like surprise.
surprise.
You're getting
on
married.
Fear
Maybe
Factor.
Maybe it could
You
just
have
be
to-
like, are you willing to get married on TV for funsies?
We have
Do
a,
you have funny parents?
we have a fake priest for you to get married to.
Man.
I mean, if they only do up to the marriage part, there's definitely like you could easily follow this up with like a post season, like a post show.
Divorced by mom and dad.
Here's the other problem. The people that are even willing to go on the show is like such a limited pool, I feel like, right? Like I don't know.
Well,
Here's a
that
random
was
question.
Harrison's complaint.
Who would go on the show? Like would anybody go on like a show like this? Not this particular one.
If it were real famous, maybe.
I mean,
If I
like,
can get my email on the screen.
we're basically talking about
You just plug your email and it's done, Chris. There you go. Boom. Email you want to get married to the TCCL at whatever.com.
The TCCL.
at whatever.
At whatever.com.
That is my email.
But I don't know.
Somebody owns whatever.com and they're gonna get a lot of.
they're
emails.
gonna get like a bunch.
like
The David Calmer Presidential Library.
I just feel like all these people are getting sucked up by The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. That like who would go on like this particular incarnation of this you have to get married thing.
Oh, it is true. I mean, that does set like some sort of like cultural benchmark for
Right.
this kind of thing.
This is still like the D-list people.
These are obviously just regular people.
What? Like,
No. But not like celebrity. I'm saying like you got your, Bachelor, Bachelorette people that are going for that bar. And then you got the TLC people that are like, yeah, what's this show that no one's ever heard of?
Let me apply to be on it.
what's
Yeah.
what's the in between one?
There's like an A through a D.
What's
Do
a
you
B?
think-
What is this B and a C? I don't
What's
think
the
There's
there's
some in between. I don't know. Name
There
another
is
show.
No, we're just saying what network
Is
a
Dating
B and a C?
Naked the B show?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Let's go for that.
So do you
That's
think that
somewhere?
everyone who applied to be on this show also has applied to be on The Bachelor Bachelorette?
See, that's where I wanted to go. So, like, we were
100%.
talking about, we just did The Bachelorette, and one thing we talked about was the show is takes itself so seriously that this is about looking for love when we know that's not what they're doing.
Right.
And so, how much is like you apply to The Bachelorette and then you just apply to all sorts of other shows you're trying to be on TV?
Just like I'm just running the
Or
marriage
are these
thing.
people more likely to be actually looking for marriage? Because you're actually involving your parents, and it's not like fancy. It's not as fancy kind of thing
It's
that it's
very-
like, these are the real true believers who come to this kind of show. Like it's.
I mean-
I can buy it.
It's very obscure.
I bet they have a good pitch letter that they send you. They're like, here's the description of the show. And I bet that looks good.
I bet that it is a single paragraph on the TLC website, and it just says, click here to submit your video, and that is it.
I mean, I looked it up, and you're basically right.
Damn it. I wanted to give them a little bit of.
There's another casting call.
Okay, hit
Have
me.
you ever experienced significant weight loss and are now left with excessive amounts of hanging skin on your body?
Well, I do
You
not
know.
want to watch that show.
So someone wants to marry people like that.
Oh, shit.
Cross that
Is
off the
show
list.
No, like no, we're not putting that show on the list.
Are
Fuck
you
that
a
show.
bride planning an outrageous or extravagant winter wonderland or holiday wedding and still shopping for your dream dress?
Winter Wonderland dream dress.
That's the name of that show.
And then, of course, would you let your parents pick your spouse?
wonder
Oh,
what,
there
wonder
you
what
go.
show that
That's
is.
it.
Well, so I
Mom and
guess
Dad married me,
Oh man.
So I
Yo,
guess they're going
oh.
for season 3 because season 2 is on the air right now.
apparently.
It's just unbelievable.
Season 2 is still on the air. I thought season 2 is wrapped.
I don't know. I don't have my computer.
I think season 2 is over.
You think there wasn't 10 episodes of season 2?
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
It's
On Comcast there wasn't 10 episodes.
Yep.
So I have to just assume, but I don't know. So what do you think about the contestants?
I really
The-
want to know what Max is looking at in this red solo cup.
Uh,
Max has a red solo cup, and I've never seen him more
this
entertained.
is great radio.
I've just never seen somebody so
let's
entertained by
ignore
this
it.
red cup.
my nose is very greasy, so I'm rubbing my nose on it to figure out how greasy my nose is.
wow.
I could have taken 50 guesses. I would never have guessed. That's why
I could have
Max
guessed a
was
million
looking at
guesses, and
solo
then no way I would have brought that up.
I now have this microphone inside this red solo cup. Maybe there's a cool echo effect. We'll find out later.
Or maybe it sounded like garbage.
Most likely.
Most likely.
All right. So what do you think about the contestants, though?
So I think the contestants, in terms of the people trying to get married, all seem real not great. I think the parents are super fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the parents are definitely the most normal people. That like the parents aren't signing up. For
I don't know
this.
how normal they. It's like,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the sergeants a little bit. So we got the dad, and we have the ex-wife, and we have the new fiance. So the dad and the wife were married for 26 years. That's like the real mom. And apparently, the new fiance went to their same high school, and they all met up together at their high school reunion, and that's how she got with the dad. And it's unclear if the mom and dad were still married at this point.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
no.
She's like
They definitely had a lot
met
of bad
at the high
blood.
school
Well, at
reunion.
least the editing made it seem like they had bad blood.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure if they had bad blood.
there
or
were
not.
a lot of looks across, because the son is talking to them individually about like, oh, I guess you guys don't see each other that much anymore. I wonder why. But they're all three of them are going to choose the fiance together. And so then every scene where the dad is sitting in the middle and there's one woman on one side and one woman on the other side, it's just nuts.
Very, very interesting dynamic there.
Oh yeah.
The editing for those scenes is fantastic. When we say the editing is great, it's mainly just this group of
Yeah.
people.
Right. They're making something probably out of nothing, and I love it.
I like go back and forth between those people in that situation about trying to figure out who the worst person is in that set of people. And
the three of them?
And now I think I've firmly landed on the dad.
Yeah.
sucks.
Well,
By
we
the end of
know
the episode.
the mom is definitely out of this conversation.
Yeah, mom seems
Mom's
fine.
great.
Mom seems fine.
Then it's a conversation with the dad and the new
The stepmom.
Stepmom.
AKA bonus mom.
Bonus
oh
mom.
yeah, it's bonus mom.
God,
Bonus
they introduced that term
mom.
in the show.
Well, it's not stepmom because they're not married.
They're not married?
No, it's just she's just the fiance at this point.
Oh.
She's,
So-
she's the
That's-
arm candy.
That's why the producers came up with the term bonus mom. Like, so how you feel about being the bonus mom, Chris? And they're like, well, I never heard that before, but yeah,
Why
I guess
am I
being
a
the bonus
mom? What
I'm
the hell is this?
Just putting you in the situation. I don't know. Just go with it,
I
man.
can't put myself.
Your first
in this
rule of acting,
situation.
Chris, is you never say no. You just run with it. Clearly, you're not an actor.
So the
Is that
interview-
acting or just improv?
I don't know.
So
Acting.
the interview style for this group, so good.
Oh, so good.
So they're trying to interview women for their son, and they're just like literally, it is a job interview.
Yeah, it's supposed
They're
to be
like
a lunch
three
date.
people on one side, woman on the other side.
And the dad has a list of questions.
Yeah, they all have notepads.
They all have notepads. They all have pens. But then the best was even before it. The dad running through his list of questions he made with the mom and
Oh, yeah.
the bonus mom
Oh.
was just
The
so
anguish.
nuts.
The mom wanted to have no idea about sex at all, and the dad was like, "Sex is number one priority."
It's
like how many times
We
a day in
gotta
a
know.
week?
We gotta know.
We got to know these things.
Are you familiar with PIV?
Nothing
man.
related to show, Max.
No, that's just the sort of shit he would probably ask.
You
He's
would.
asking some real,
To be fair, I think he has the right attitude, but like he also has
Oh,
to court
no.
these women.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to show up in like this kind of like.
He's like the dude in Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, whatever.
Oh,
that movie
yeah.
was.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, he's like he's like a really shitty Robert De Niro, I guess.
Shitty Robert De Niro.
He's the
Yeah.
shitty Robert
He's,
De Niro.
he's Frank De Niro.
Oh, man. I don't even know if he gets a De Niro. Maybe he just gets a Robert. He just gets a first name.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry. That was an unintentional burn. Wow.
Burned so hard.
Oh.
So the guy just keeps on asking these girls what their sexual expectations are.
Although the mom did talk him out of the how many times a day do you want to touch my son or something like
Oh
that.
yeah,
fucking
something.
Then he-
weird question.
Follows it up with, how would you state, or what was your political stance or something?
No,
What
it was
shit?
like
I
the-
He
messed
wanted
that
to
one up.
ask what was your political stance.
But he
He
asked
also,
it in a
likes
crazy
talking
way.
a lot about like what's your debt load.
Oh, yeah.
He just this fucking guy
the accountant.
just thinks that because he bought a button-down shirt and wore it to this lunch that he gets to grill these girls about accounting terms. Like it's so unnecessary.
He's like, first, do you know what debt load is?
Like, hey, can you please define debt load for me? Okay, you can't define debt load. Okay, let me define it for you.
Yeah, it's
now,
percentage of
now,
whatever.
now, please do the mental math and tell me what your debt load is right now.
I think like you can sort of see the mom keep interrupting, be like, "You don't need to answer all his questions. It's okay." Or
Well, that was with the third girl. She knew after the
no, we
first
only
one-
saw 2 girls.
No, we saw three.
Yeah.
No, we
No,
saw
th-
two.
There was
There
one in
was
the
a
next
last.
time on.
I
Yeah.
thought there was there was 2 at like an outside restaurant,
Yeah.
and then there was another girl. Like
Nah.
No.
I swore
Nah.
there was another girl.
We saw a third one's video, but we didn't see their interview
Okay,
with the
maybe I was
parents.
getting confused with-
And then at one point, like the mom makes a comment, and the dad kind of gives a look. Then there's this weird, like, awkward silence, and they cut to interviewing the woman, and she's like, "There's some interesting dynamic going on with those parents."
Oh, the editing.
So I got a sidebar for a second here.
All right,
I could see Harrison getting real excited about this show. He's definitely
Nah,
in.
dude.
He's definitely
Is this
in.
one-
Nah,
is this another one on
dude.
the
Nah,
list?
dude.
No?
I'm not in this one.
He's
I
not
am
going.
not. I am
Yeah.
not in on this
you
one.
gotta
wait till the
give us the weekly updates.
I am not. I will not be participating in the weekly updates for this show.
I feel like half our podcast now is weekly updates.
Oh man, we're gonna get. I have some updates for later. We're gonna get to that at the end of the pod.
Oh, this is
Got some
great.
updates.
Can't wait.
It is early week, but we do have some updates.
All right.
He's been watching more Luda.
Luda.
All right.
Oh shit! You've been watching Luda?
No.
no Luda. No Luda. Spoilers. No Luda
Thank
update
God.
coming up.
So, do we have anything else to say about this crazy couple? After I sidebarred everyone.
Oh shit! I
Not
thought we were
really.
done with the show.
Now we got to talk about the other 2 people.
The other
Okay.
crazies.
I mean, Maravik, there's not really that much to say.
We got- I feel like the parents are real fun.
The
Parents
dad
are insane.
loves saying the word bald, and
And
every
then-
time he says the word bald, he just bursts out laughing at himself.
And the wife does too. They
And
just
then-
both start laughing their out of their minds.
And then when the guys come to try to have lunch with them and they wear hats, they make them take off the hats. They can laugh at their baldness.
yeah, they just
It's
immediately
so
start
ridiculous.
laughing. Oh my god.
Although I will say that one guy who comes in and says he's a rapper has my favorite line in the whole episode. He's just like, you just gotta trust the process. It's the first episode of the first season of the show, but you gotta trust that process.
Dude, that's
You're
what
right.
I'm telling you. Like the
That was good.
producers totally sent him like a pitch card or something. It's
Oh
like,
my god!
spelled out great, and there's like the 5 definitions of why this is gonna work and all this bullshit.
At least if you're on Married at First Sight, there is a process. You got Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper. They're doing psychological
Yeah.
evaluations.
There's not even a host or anything on this show.
It's very loose.
Yeah, there's just a camera crew.
That's why I think it's feels like more of a documentary
So-
because there's no host.
Does this show need Luda? We're trying to find Luda a better show to host.
Does anyone find anyone to marry if Luda's on the show? You crazy?
Man, don't stick Luda on this garbage
What
shit.
if they end up marrying Luda?
Yo, I think that should be our new
The parents
measurement.
pick Luda.
But he's already married.
What
What
if-
a twist.
What if the top middle third was like, would you put Luda on it? Would Luda love to be on it? or would this be like a terrible thing for Luda?
It's a
All
weird
right.
mix,
You
but I think
can-
he would really elevate it.
This would ruin
You
Luda.
can do whatever you want.
This is a Luda ruiner. I'm putting in the Luda ruiner bucket.
Luda's setting up all these conversations with these parents and the people. That's a winner right there.
Okay, but would you watch like Married by Andre and Big Boy?
Oh,
Would Luda be asking them about their fears to help them pick? He's doing that deep research.
Luda already knows your fears.
Oh, so the other thing about the this mom and dad is the dad makes so many references to he wants someone who's exactly like him.
Oh my
Oh.
god!
And
so
that's kind of
weird.
creepy.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like if only my daughter was just basically dating me, that'd be awesome. It's like, I don't know about that.
I'm
Dad.
awesome, so
Is this also the 5-inch heel girl?
This was
Yes.
definitely 5-inch heel.
Oh,
Please
man.
explain that one, James.
Oh, I didn't really totally catch it. For some reason, I wasn't paying super close attention, and all of a sudden, she just something about like she wears 5-inch heels all the time. I'm like, okay.
so
it's
she
really
said
random.
she's 5'1", so she needs a guy who's at least 5'7", because when she wears her 5-inch heels, he's still taller than her.
There you go.
and she loves to dance. So
Oh,
the
and
person-
some guy lied to her about it. And then she asked him. Apparently, they danced on the
I
first
tricked
date,
you.
and then
Then he said,
some
"I tricked
bullshit.
you." At some
Right.
point.
Yeah, they
What
danced
a-
on the first date and they never danced again.
What a bamboozle!
Yeah.
I do like the accent of the parents.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me a lot of Master of None parents.
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know, maybe because they're similar ethnicity.
I-
But that's about it.
That might be sexist, Chris.
So based on their names, I'm gonna say maybe they're Filipino. I don't really know.
Hence, I said similar and not the same.
Max ruling.
What?
What's your ruling?
Fair.
Fair? Okay.
I just
Objection.
want to.
Overruled or sustained. I don't know which is more applicable here.
Call the Bachelorette.
So do we want to talk about the last?
Let's talk about the last
couple
parents.
that we saw.
Oh,
James.
man.
What's the defining characteristic of this dad, in your opinion?
The parents from West Virginia.
I think I've already called it out in this show.
Call it out again.
But in either event, this guy. Oh, he has a couple of things going for him, actually. I'll go with one that you don't even suspect, which is he's got this thing that he does, which is called the cake dance.
Oh boy.
Tell us more.
So apparently, this guy really loves cake, which okay, I get it. A lot of people like cake, but he really loves cake. So he does this thing when cake comes out that he just gets up and just starts doing this, insane dad cake dance thing. He's got his own little thing going on, just moving
yeah.
around. I don't know. And then
It was a very funny dance.
it's pretty funny, yeah. Like he's kind of a big guy.
The first time he did the dance, he flung his chair to the ground.
Oh yeah,
Because he got up with such excitement to
he's
do the
real
cake
into
dance.
it. And then he's like, "I'll do it again. I got to do it again."
They
It's the
went
whole
to
thing.
like the #1 cake place in Charlotte. To do
Charlotte or
this.
Charleston.
Charleston.
That's it. Sorry.
Yeah, they only live in Charleston's.
the,
in
the-
different places.
The baker had a great reaction when the daughter's trying to explain
They interviewed
they're
the
planning a
baker.
wedding, but they don't have a groom yet. And the baker's
like,
like, okay. And the baker's like, will he be at the wedding? And then they're like, we don't know.
Like, hopefully.
If not, we're just gonna eat all this cake.
I can't believe that person's interview was even like a thing.
Yeah,
They got,
exactly,
like,
I thought
this
the same
testimonial.
thing.
It was so insane. Like, who cares what this random cake person thinks about this situation?
Maybe it was a crossover from another TLC show.
It should have been. Why wasn't it the Cake People or whatever the hell that show is?
Cake Boss?
Cake Boss. I don't know.
Is that on
Cupcake
TLC?
bakers.
I don't know if it's on TLC, but Cake
TLC's
Boss.
got to have a.
There's a
baking
guy
show.
called Cake Boss who has like 5 different reality shows. So he
Right.
too busy.
I can't believe there wasn't a TLC.
all he
crossover.
does is go on reality shows. He was definitely available to do a cameo on Married by Mom.
This show was so low budget they couldn't even get people from their own shows to do anything for it.
Who knows? But then you don't know if it was going to be sold to TLC. Maybe
That's
It
true.
could be funded by somewhere else.
It could very well be like maybe not season 1, maybe season 2. They get that crossover. There's got to be like 20. There's Say Yes to the Dress. There's all sorts of synergy they can do here.
So
True.
Harrison,
Bridezillas.
What is
you could
the-
It's got like a
other-
whole ecosystem around
yeah.
around marriage.
Harrison, what is the other defining characteristic of this guy?
He has quite a comb over.
What did you call it?
I think that James is the one who coined this term, so I'm going to let him take it.
Neck something.
James was yelling throughout the episode. That guy's comb over's coming from his neck. That guy's got a neck comb over.
That's not how it originated. Well, first I thought Max was doing something with the phone. That's why I hesitated. Yeah. So he has a large comb over going, but it wasn't obvious at first where it was coming from. But then it starts showing. I'm like, man, that hair's pretty long. Like it must be coming from pretty far back. Then they finally show a shot of him from the back, and it's pretty clear that it is a hell of a comb over / maybe the longest one I've ever seen, which is starting from the neck area and proceeding over the back of the skull down to the forehead.
I don't think that's what I saw.
Yeah. It was kind of more coming from like the hair on the back of his head.
Below the skull though.
Well, I thought he had the big bald patch in the middle of the head, and then I feel like the hair at the top of that was grown out all
that
over.
could
But
be
I feel
too.
like he just had other hair in the back. That is, so it was like
He
two
definitely
different
looked like a
things.
normal bald person to me with like a slight comb over.
Yeah.
He definitely had a comb over, but I've seen worse.
Oh, it wasn't even that bad of a comb over, but it was really just from.
You're
when I
saying
turned around.
it's the
You
most
really-
insane neck comb over you've ever seen, but it's
You
not
really-
that bad.
No way it was a neck comb over because you couldn't keep it on your head if it was from your neck.
You're really downplaying your reaction to this comb over right now,
He
I
was
feel like.
so excited.
Dude, that was a big time neck.
We
comb
got to
over.
record part of the episode so we can play clips of us watching the episode, not the episode.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I
that-
told you roll mics, but you didn't listen.
James has been requesting this for a long time, that we need to have a mic on him at all times to get any gold that comes out of his mouth.
That we just get a mic on Max and James, and then we'll just pull clips.
Dude, we'll do the spin-off show. We'll just do the Mike and James Watch TV.
Do you have a Twitch?
Yo, Max, you should get that.
Sure.
So the other thing about the parents South Carolina, so instead of the other ones we saw where people come to meet them at a restaurant, they actually go to a guy's house, and he's having them over at his house to like eat and have drinks and stuff, which is a different twist. And the guy mentions, he opens the door for the stepmom, and he says he used to be a valet, but never left West Virginia before. Thinks he said he's in the ballet, and starts asking what ballet.
Yeah, she goes. So he's like, yeah, I used to be a valet for a number of years. She's like, oh yeah, that's nice.
You're dancing.
So yes, it's like, so you dance well then or something.
That dude was also like the buffest dude I've seen.
So jacked.
He spends at least 2 to 4 hours in the gym a day.
He
Oh,
must
yeah.
have been on his cycle. And he timed it for the Married by Mom and Dad cameras.
That guy looked like he was about to bust out of his shirt at any moment.
Oh yeah.
Like that scene in Fast 7.
With the rock busting
Yeah.
out of his cast if the guys bust
Yeah.
out of his shirt.
This dude could totally do that. But I think he skips a little leg day. He needs to get his legs a little bigger.
There you go.
Just working,
DCL recommendation of the week.
just working
is
out those glamour
Don't
muscles.
forget the leg days.
I mean, he's got like monster back muscle. I don't know what the
Traps?
hell I was gonna say traps, but I wasn't
Yep.
sure.
The traps are
They,
ridiculous.
they definitely show a shot of him working out without his shirt, and he must have
yeah.
insisted on that.
I was surprised that he didn't pop his shirt off for the parents.
I thought
You
it
gotta
was
set the
getting
right
pretty close.
tone.
He was
gotta
sweating.
you gotta leave a little something to the imagination.
No, not one. His real life is better than their imagination. So
Whew, easy,
That would-
easy there, Chris.
that would
Easy.
be an amazing thing for him to have said to the parents. Are you sure you want me to take my shirt off? My real life is better than your imagination.
he's got to be using that
man.
in his Tinder profile.
Man, you could totally make like a great T-shirt out of that and sell it to like gyms everywhere.
That's got to be our Reddit flair.
So why not just give these parents access to like their kid's Tinder account and just roll with it?
Because
This-
most people aren't going to want to get married from the Tinder profile.
This show is ripe for like a dating website partnership.
Just jump
like,
on it.
Where like the parents are just on the dating website and they're looking at
Oh,
like whatever.
Oh man,
Imagine if you swiped right on like some dating app, and next thing you know, it's just like TLC reaching out to you. You're like, hey, guess what? That person you swiped right on is actually on the show. Do you want to be on TV?
They want to get married to you.
Or Conan calls you for some guest that he has.
I really thought you were gonna go with Luda. Like you pick up the phone and it's Luda, and he's like, "Yo,
I
Yo, you
need
wanna be
you.
on
I
Fear
did the
Factor?
research and I put you together with this girl. You got to
You
get
have the
married right
same
now."
fears.
Right.
Oh, dude. What if one of the challenges in Fear Factor was you had to get married to the person you came with?
Oh,
Hey.
man.
That's a big time Fear Factor right there, dude.
Especially when the episode we saw was siblings.
Right.
I think
No.
that's a dangerous
Oh,
territory
yeah.
to tread.
Maybe you
most
change up the
states
theme a little
that's
bit.
illegal. So that
What
would be
if you have to
difficult.
go on
Most.
as like a couple? So it's like a couples
No,
series.
what if it's-
and at the end of the show you have to get married?
What if
like
it's
the
Battle of
requirement.
the Exes?
Battle of the Exes. would
Battle of
be-
the Exes that have to get married again?
You have to
Yeah.
get married to your ex to complete the ultimate fear.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal for siblings to get married in all states.
Mm,
Cousins,
okay.
it's some most
state
That
by
states.
depends
state.
where you're from, probably.
I don't think you're allowed to marry your sister in Alabama. And I feel like that would be the only state where that would be possible.
Man, bus. Sorry to any of our listeners in Alabama.
Sorry.
You know.
All right, I got
That was a real
I don't
ender
have
there.
anything else for this show.
I got a hypothetical to throw out there
Hit
to
me.
sort of wrap up talking about the show.
Naked?
So, we've all met my parents.
Yep.
We've all met Harrison's parents. We've all met Max's mom.
Yep.
I haven't met Chris or James's parents. I don't know if anyone else has. If you had to pick parents to be part of this show, without factoring like who's the
man.
the son involved, who would make the best parents to be on the show?
Oh boy.
Man.
Papa
Real ridiculous.
Kits is pretty high on this list. So
I'm
Papa
gonna
and Mama
have to
Kids
agree
are
with that
pretty
one, I
great.
think. Yeah.
Yo, I think we get Papa Kits and Papa Hoff, team them up, and just get a spin-off there.
little,
That'd be a hell of a show.
Not Max's mom.
Oh, I haven't met Max's mom.
Oh,
You haven't met Max's mom.
That's
oh.
my defense there.
Only you?
Only
I
me.
haven't met Max's mom.
I think that I met her briefly.
Oh yeah, you were at Unchel's place.
She does seem
Yeah, yeah.
awesome from what I've seen on Snapchat from Max.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, the snap
There you go.
stories.
Oh, so I thought Max's mom had met more people. My apologies.
Well, we don't have a lot to discuss.
I'll,
Because
okay.
both
I'll let
the
her know,
dads you
though.
brought up are pretty good.
Yeah.
They're definitely some pretty nice characters that would make a good TV show. I'm not sure if they would pick like a good wife. I can't say to that effect.
Probably. Probably a pretty good job.
I mean, I feel like most parents would do a good job, and this is why it was it was a thing for like the longest time.
My most recent time going home, my mom tried to set me up with someone without telling me.
Do go on.
So you were almost married by
I was
mom.
almost married by
You
mom.
were married by mom at first sight?
I mean,
But there was a plot twist though.
there was a plot twist. She was already dating someone. Blop blop blop.
And how'd your mom respond to that?
My mom was. You could feel her voice just go down.
But did she say
It's a
like,
bummer.
but he's a nice Jewish boy?
No.
I also feel like if you include like people that parents have set up with their like son or daughter, a lot of people got married by their parents. It's just like you're truncating this timeline and kind of removing a piece of
Well, I
guess
mean,
that's
you're taking the ultimate decision out of the son or daughter's hands, right?
Yeah. I mean, do you do that or do you put it in some sort of algorithm team's hands and get married at first sight?
I mean,
Oh, so you just
Would,
want,
would
like,
you rather be
you
on
want like AI married at first sight? Like we
That's
give
what we
this
just
shit over to
did.
like. Oh.
Well, would you rather be on this show or Married at First Sight?
Definitely married at first sight.
No, but like married at first sight
Which one would
isn't
you
like
rather be
full
on?
on AI. I want like all of the
But
world's
which show would you
supercomputing
rather
power
be
put in
on,
this thing.
James?
You want married by IBM Watson.
Yeah, like it's like Watson's gonna marry you, and then it's like what happens then?
that seems
James,
great.
What show would you rather be on?
We're not going on the futuristic sci-fi one.
No.
Shit, I don't want to be on either of these shows.
Well, pick one.
The idea of getting married at first sight is ridiculous.
Well, you have another option.
What's the other option?
Married by mom and dad.
Oh shit!
At first sight.
At first,
You don't
sight.
have to do it at first sight. We've already gone over this.
I don't know. Maybe the first sight things you just get it over with, and you're like, "Ah, is this gonna work out?" And then you just,
Because
because at least that one like seems a little higher budget. So I'm really just
That
looking
was
at
on like
what
the
lifestyle is
FYI
like.
network. How is that?
I don't know.
still-
I felt like they at
It
least
was
had
definitely higher
what is it,
budget.
Kraft
I
Foods
don't
or whatever.
think so.
They
I think the show has a more budget than that show.
It-
They
just-
had craft services or whatever that shit's called, where they had all the food for sure.
They had
They
Dr.
didn't have shit on
Pepper.
this one.
Sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Like,
So Chris, what show would you pick?
That's a tough call.
What do you mean?
I didn't come up with my answer. Before I was gonna get at the end, but I got everyone else's.
Yeah.
Probably I could do either. To be honest, like
Oh.
one is not like super above the other.
Max, pull up that application.
Oh,
What application?
for Chris,
Yeah.
can do.
Yo, how long's the form? Is it possible to do it on this show?
No way.
No, that's bad. That's bad radio.
TV.
We don't want it. We don't
No,
wanna do
no.
that.
I mean, just like
Remember
in,
the
like,
time we took the Hillbilly Blood
Oh,
quiz on the podcast?
the
We do
dark
not want to
days.
repeat that.
Yeah.
That's true.
If I had to pick one, probably Married at First Sight.
All right.
Because I think that the preamble would be too stressful. Like it would be more stressful than just get married at first sight.
So you just want to do it and then have to
But-
deal with it for a little bit and that be the show.
All right. Max, how about you?
There's only one show for me, Married by Grandpa Mang.
Oh, if you are the one.
Yeah.
But if you had to choose between these two, though,
Oh, shit. Shit.
I like how no one's expecting that question to come back at them.
ooh, man, this is really a.
I was expecting it. I just didn't have an answer.
all right. What about Harrison? Do you have one?
You know what? The pools are way worse on this show. So, Married at First Sight.
Good answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to agree with that, and I think it kind of depends a little bit on what your goals and motivations are for being on the show. But I think probably overall, Married at First Sight seems like a better show, and if it's not gonna work out, you can figure it out faster. Maybe get that divorce. Who knows?
But you might your parents might pick a better person than the like team.
Like
It also
they say,
depends
okay,
on,
okay.
like-
Here's the other thing. I would feel a lot less bad at divorcing and walking away from somebody that some random team of experts picked than like my parents like handpicked for me.
100%.
So it's just like
Yeah,
like
that's
what we picked this nice girl for you. Like no. Divorce.
No.
I told you, no bald guys.
Right. No, exactly.
At least then you'd have a clear cut excuse though. You're just
Like-
well, obviously I said this was a hard requirement.
Well,
Like
just like-
it just sets up such a crazy situation for the rest of your life where it's just like every time something's bad in your marriage, it's like fucking are you serious, mom? Like you like bone me for life with this person, you know?
Man.
Well, the thing is, it could work out in either show. Which one would be more likely to work out? Do you trust the experts or you trust your mom and dad?
Well, but like I, so there's
I don't
I
trust
think
either
a
of them.
balance. There's the combination of like which one is more likely to work out and which one ends worse if it doesn't work out. And I think you have to kind of take the blend of those two things.
it's definitely
That's
weighted.
fair. I mean, but I think if you end up and she's crazy, just divorce her and be like, "Mom, you picked a crazy person."
No, I mean no, for sure you're right.
It turns out, surprise, she was nuts.
Like, I feel like if you're gonna divorce her for like petty reasons, then sure, go with the marriage.
No,
first
sure,
sight.
yeah.
But if you're gonna like divorce her for a serious reason, I'm sure you could be okay with that.
Well, the
Sure.
crazy in either way works out.
Hey,
Right.
we picked her. Your dad asked her about sex, a scale 1 to 10. She said 10, and your dad insisted that's the one we had to pick. What do you want?
Oh my gosh.
So one more thing on the show, I just thought. So, if you watched the whole season of the show, I wondered if there'd be like a gender breakdown thing of like all the guys get pretty good success and it sort of works out pretty well, and all the women their parents don't pick, or the other way around. Like, I
That'd be
wonder
interesting.
if it would actually kind of break down that way.
So
or
far,
not.
the talent pool seems like the girls are really good, and the guys might seem to
But
be.
that
a
might
little-
just be the LA factor.
Yeah. Well, I say that, but then we talked about the really buff guy.
Oh, the really
But,
buff
like-
guy. That's true.
I feel like the really buff guys tend to be a little very vain because they have to be at the gym so often.
That guy's a little bit too buff. I
He's
think.
too buff.
He's not really in that zone where you know what I mean.
What I will say
Yeah, I'm
Explain
just
this to me.
just telling you.
Do go on. Please.
What I will say
elaborate.
is, I don't think he's roiding necessarily. He's right at the upper limit of not roiding.
like, I'm not saying whether he's roiding or whether he's not roiding. I just think that dude's muscles are a little bit too big for people.
I'm with you.
Too
that,
big
like,
for me, at least.
Mr. No Muscles.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey man, he said they're too big. That's all he's saying.
Yeah.
Don't try to force
Them
it.
Those
muscles.
traps are a little intimidating. They're like huge.
They're just not very useful.
He's just working those glamour muscles, man. That's all he's got.
Yeah.
So top, middle, third. I think we can probably guess most of the people here after we talked about it.
I'm middle.
Harrison.
I actually think I'm bottom third on this one. I just like it's hard for me to get excited about this one. I don't think that the characters are particularly good, so it's just kind of. I mean, like maybe you get enough entertainment out of the parents, but I don't know.
Yeah.
James.
I was gonna say surprise, but it's just not. It's terrible. This might be like one of the worsts.
You
It's in the
gotta be
worsts.
kidding me.
It's
The
towards
worst?
the worsts.
The
I can't
worsts.
name what the worsts are.
Was it worse
But it's in
than
the worst.
Fear Factor last week?
Where did I put Fear Factor? I don't remember.
We all had it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely higher than this one,
You
This
gotta
one's
be
higher than this one.
Fucking kidding me,
dude. This like I got so frustrated watching the show. Like, I
Is
just
it
wa-
because the people on the show didn't do what you would do, or like
It's
can't
just-
empathize, or like
no,
what?
You just kinda went
it's
into
the
it-
format of the show. Like it started out in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is fine, and then it's just like, oh my god, like how much more of this shit is there? And then we're still not gonna find out anything.
What do you mean they're trying to pick like somebody they're gonna marry would do that in the
There's
10
a few
minutes?
problems. One is the format, the budget of the show, the overall quality is terrible. There's just like not a great flow, and it's just a bunch of like it just feels
We
like
just talked about how great the editing was. The flow
no,
was bad.
the editor is good, but like they're trying to make something out of nothing, and I just feel like they have nothing to work with constantly, and they're scrounging to get it. So I just don't know how like it feels like it's bubblegum and tape, and at some point it's just gonna fall apart.
We
I just don't need to invest in that.
We are definitely coming off of a bunch of really well produced reality shows, like with pretty high production value, and this is very much not that.
Yeah.
Right.
Rob.
I think I got a thing for the marriage shows. I'm putting in my top third.
Oh no!
Oh man.
So I mean,
So is that a definitely you would continue to watch?
I'm definitely thinking about watching some more of the show.
We're gonna need that
Interesting.
update next week.
Yeah, you got to provide it.
So I spoiled the contents of episode 10 for myself, and there is quite a doozy in there.
so I'm. It's close to a boundary, but I think it's gonna land on the top third.
Whoa.
Like-
Same question. Are you going to continue to watch it?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
I want to explain, and then I'll
Okay,
answer the
okay,
question.
okay.
It's like I like the more documentary-esque reality shows because I feel like they're more real, and I get more invested in the people. So that's why I like the show more, and I could see totally why you wouldn't like it because it's like more of a documentary, and there isn't as much content. I do think that they could turn this into like trim half the people and turn it into a really good documentary movie.
Right.
Where you cut off like 8 hours of this, but like I don't know. I would definitely continue watching, but I would drop it if it keeps the same pace and doesn't get more interesting because
Like-
it is the pacing is too slow.
There is a version of this concept that I think would be really interesting, and I think that it might be the thing you were just talking about, which is like a really well-made documentary where there's like a lot of emphasis on like the search for the person, and they travel
Right.
around trying to find the person. They do all this stuff, and
Sure.
then they like I could see a version of this concept that works. I just think that like it's so thin, like
It feels
It
like
just
it's thin. We
feels
have
like
no
it's
idea,
really
but
thin.
it feels it the way that it's presented.
you know what I mean?
I know you guys complain. You're complaining a lot about like that they're picking 3 people.
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
3 people.
For sure.
I'm not like from the first episode. I can't say that they're only ever going to look at those 3 people because there's only
Sure.
4 real main contestants on the show, and there's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna like.
I don't know unless they get married halfway through, and then it's like trying to deal with it and see if
I
it
don't.
works
I
out.
think they're just introduce more and more people. Like they do more things. So I don't know. I might.
I mean, the
continue
fact that
watching.
we've watched what an hour and a half of this, and we have no idea,
It's
like,
an hour and 13 minutes or something.
yeah,
Well, an hour and a half with commercials.
Like it would
I don't know if. Yeah. I don't know. What
I think that's what worked out too.
I would be pleasantly surprised if part of the rest of the season is them dipping into other methods of trying to find people for their kids, but I just don't think that's where the show is going. I mean, and I might be wrong, but
I don't know. I can't tell you.
yeah. Well, let me know when you watch it.
All right, maybe I'll bring some updates for
I'm looking
once.
forward to it. Not really.
So speaking of updates,
I do have one update. We have kind of an early pod this week. It's on Monday, not our usual Wednesday, so I don't have challenge and Bachelorette updates. But I do have an
Can't
update.
believe you're watching The Bachelorette.
I do.
I have to second that sentiment.
Oh man,
He's not alone, I don't think. I mean, I'm not.
I feel like I heard
know
that Rob
is.
watched a little bit of The Bachelorette, though.
My wife did watch The Bachelorette, and I was
Yeah.
on the couch while she was watching it. That is
Oh,
true.
I was just happened to be around The Bachelorette. Okay.
A likely story.
I happen to be paying attention and snapping.
That second episode was so bad.
Oh man. So we have the finale of The Amazing Race that happened, and just so that I tee it up right, I actually do have all the team names this week, so we can talk about the
Oh.
team names. So in the final, we had London and Logan, who were basically like they didn't get very much screen time in the season. You might even remember them from when we did Team Lolo.
Team Lolo rings a bell. Now that
They're not like they didn't get a ton of screen time. We had Tara and Joey, who were like I think that like she was like a cop and he was something else. They're like a little bit older. And then we had Brooke and Scott.
Brooke and Scott.
Who
So the
we
second one was
definitely
Team
know.
Mom and Dad, right?
Yeah, I think that's Team Mom and Dad. Yeah.
Whoa, amputee left?
We
yeah,
talked about that last week.
Yeah. So that,
I
yeah.
don't remember.
Team
So
hashtag
Matt-
the boys was done.
Matt and Redmond hashtag the boys came in fourth. They got eliminated right
Oh,
before.
yeah.
They got messed up by some taxi error
Some
basically.
sort of producer
Owns.
bullshit.
Yeah. So they run the final, and turns out Brooke and Scott take the entire thing home.
Oh man.
And I was looking this up to make sure I was getting the names right before this. There are like news articles out there about people are fucking pissed that they won because people really dislike Brooke.
Shocker.
I mean, no, but like there's seemingly a bunch of backlash out there because I think that they only won one leg before they won the final, and they kind of perceived her as kind of complaining through all these challenges, which she definitely was. So people are really not happy about the victory, but I think a W is a W. They should take it.
Well, they gotta take it. So it's so funny now looking back when we were like, oh wow, we saw Scott, totally own himself by
Oh,
picking
yeah.
Brooke. What a terrible choice. And
Yeah,
Scott
but is
Scott played us all.
So is it worth winning to be with Brooke the whole like however long?
$1,000,000.
It's if you come in third and I went through the whole thing and just came in third. You come in and you win, it's worth it.
So they won $1 million between the two.
They
of
won $1
them?
million between the two of them.
So you just
Man.
split the money and you walk away from each other, or like how does this? How, what do
I
you think
mean,
those things work?
It's not a married by mom and dad situation. Like you can
They
walk
know each
away.
other?
Married by
no,
$1 million
this
bucks.
was.
Oh yeah, so
James clearly was not listening to our pod.
Yeah, so
I did not listen to that
the
one.
Amazing Race was a different format this season. Basically, everyone came in as individuals, and then there was kind of like a mini challenge at the beginning of the race, and then people got to pick their partners, and they were with them for the entire race, stranger for the entire race.
Interesting.
So it's pretty crazy, but yeah.
I would, if you'd asked me to get rank 1 to 6 of the teams left from the episode we watched, definitely Scott and Brooke would have been 6th on my
They
list.
barely won that. They barely didn't get eliminated.
They barely didn't get eliminated, and when Brooke successfully did the roadblock, Scott was shocked she was not the last one out of that roadblock.
They were doing terrible all the time, mostly. Scott was also deathly afraid of heights, and he ended up like basically randomly drawing all of the roadblocks that had to do with heights, so he had to do all the height stuff.
Oh,
So that was-
randomly.
Well, I mean, they're basically switching off. I mean, they could pick either person to do the roadblocks. The way
okay.
they arranged it is that they were switching off every other roadblock, basically.
I feel like the producers are just like, let's just fuck with this guy.
I guess they could have been like, oh, they're alternating. Let's arrange an insane bungee jump in Ecuador. I feel like they probably planned it ahead of time. I don't know.
Definitely seems like you'd plan that a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel they can't plan that episode to episode.
But they know that there's like a guy that's on the show that's casted that's afraid of heights.
But if it's a roadblock, you could easily have the other person pick the roadblock.
Got it.
Yeah. But so he kind of ended up having to do a bunch of these. But yeah, they ended up winning though. So good race.
What would you more recommend? The finale of The Amazing Race or the finale of Rat Race?
Oh, Rat Race, hell of a movie.
Hell of a movie.
One of my favorite movies, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Strong
really-
statement.
I like road trip movies, and like just the coincidences and the situations they set up are just so good.
I feel like maybe I need to revisit that movie because it's been a little bit since I've seen Rat Race.
Do we got a
I mean,
pod rat race?
The ending kind of falls apart, but like up until
Whoa!
then, it's-
Don't you talk about Smash Mouth like that.
I feel like as soon as you hit the church area, it kind of falls apart. But up until that point, it's great.
All right, this has been our
A-
update
A-
about Rat Race.
Rat Race
A+,
minute.
A+ movie.
A plus.
Well, A because the ending.
It's an A plus movie with no ending. Are you shitting me?
A movie, but it would be an A+ if they.
It is
was-
a movie.
Oh.
If there was an ending, they would have gotten that plus.
If there's an ending, there's an
If
A+.
there was a better
So what
ending.
is it as is?
It's an A.
It's an A.
Yeah.
You need the ending for the plus.
But is this
Wow.
like one of those bullshit schools?
There must be
where
a hell of a
an
movie
A is
then.
4 and a
Hell of a
A+
movie.
is 4.3.
No,
Okay, because fuck those.
it's a 3.8, 3.7, or 3.75, or whatever it is.
Anyone have any other updates on shows?
I finished Prison Break.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was okay. It was an enjoyable 9-episode series. It definitely had mixtures of season 1 and 2, and I think it brought Michael back in a believable way, surprisingly, even though he was dead.
Oh. Wait. What show is this?
Prison Break.
So I'm talking about Mike, and I'm like, wait, are you talking
James-
about that other show that Harrison introduced me
James,
to?
are you okay?
Dude, I'm good.
James
you need
is
to-
James is struggling.
Dude, it's so late.
It's 11 o'clock here.
It's at least 11 o'clock.
We wasted our entire evening watching this fucking show.
Dude,
You're welcome, guys.
I do want to know, is everyone watching Silicon Valley here?
I hadn't watched the latest.
I haven't watched Sundays, I don't think,
Don't
or
spoil
yesterday's.
for me.
No,
I'm-
no, no.
I'm caught
not
up.
anything about episode specific, just the season.
He hasn't.
I haven't
so
watched
far.
any of this
Oh,
season.
okay. Damn it, Max.
Good season.
It's good though. It's been good.
I was just curious at a high level how people were feeling about it.
I'm liking it.
Thumbs up.
I like it. I think that it's some general question. It's not pushing towards one main event like the last 3 seasons are,
Mm.
and it's a little more up and down. But I love they can go more into aspects of the tech industry.
Yeah. Some of the stuff
and
are
make
hitting on.
make more
Yeah.
satire of that than one overarching satire.
Yeah.
But it's a little more up and down than the last couple seasons.
I agree. I think you actually kind of hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
So one last thing to close out. Last week on the pod, people were talking about Wonder Woman. I think a few people here saw it, so no spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give the quick, 30-second review. How was Wonder Woman?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. It was one of the better origin story superhero movies. But I'm getting kind of tired of the origin superhero movie. I think Deadpool really did a good job of satiring it. So kind of past the I can take origin stories seriously.
What was the
But I
kind
would
of
recommend
vibe?
it.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Yeah, so you would recommend. What was the kind of vibe? So I hadn't seen it. I was
It's
just curious. Was it kind of like a Wolverine kind of vibe, or
It's really
Like,
good. It's
just-
one of the top
I would compare it to Iron Man. It has the
Okay.
humor of Iron Man. I felt
like Iron Man 1?
Yeah.
Talking? Okay.
I think that Gal Gadot, who plays Wonder Woman, just she's just a great actress. She has she just plays that role really well, and she just puts out that badass woman vibe, and it's just it's really good. Yeah.
I despise DC movies. Zack Snyder, please stop doing your job.
Seconded.
Is this a Zack Snyder?
No,
No.
this
No.
is not.
So
Ah.
it's part of the same universe, but Zack Snyder had nothing to do with this particular movie,
Thank goodness.
which is why apparently this one's all right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Were there other superheroes in this one, or is
No.
it just Wonder Woman?
just Wonder Woman.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a potential spoiler, but just
Uh,
curious.
No, yeah, it was
I keep
more
saying
origin.
that about X-Men movies too. They keep bringing Bryan Singer back to do mediocre X-Men movies, and and they gave it to Vin.
Actually,
They gave it to somebody else to do First Class, and he was great.
Matthew Vaughn, I think.
Matthew
right?
Vaughn and Deadpool was great. You give
Yeah.
those characters, and Logan was great. He
Logan
didn't
was
do-
fantastic.
and he didn't do any of those movies, and they were great.
There you go. I agree. Those are all the ones I like.
Exactly. You're God damn it! Stop giving those movies to him. I know we haven't really discussed what we're doing next week.
I don't think we're in a position to.
Oh, you about to drop something on us?
I was gonna say we could do Mr. F, I believe.
Mr. F.
What is Mr. F?
Earlier, you said it was the F word.
The F word. That's it.
The F word.
I was like, gonna
This
look
is
it
a
up,
this is
and
a
I'm pretty
family pod, Chris.
Fork?
sure It is.
What's a fork?
The new Gordon Ramsay show on Fox.
We do like Gordon
It's gonna be
Ramsay.
so much fucking yelling.
Gordon Ramsay, friend of the pod.
gonna be
So this
yelling.
one, he's not like. I don't think he's part of the kitchen. From what I read, it was like he gives the recipe to a group of people, and they have to like they get rated on.
Oh,
however
good.
they
Does he?
do
Does he?
shit.
Do you have to serve it to him? Please tell me you have to serve it to him.
I'm sure you
And
have
he
to
just
serve it.
berates you
can't
while
have
he
a
eats
Gordon
it.
Ramsay show without like Gordon Ramsay at
It's
least
like
critiquing.
I'm gonna eat my own recipe, and you're gonna have to go prepare it for me.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
That's every Gordon Ramsay show.
oh my god.
So I don't know if we're gonna do that one or not. I'm just throwing it out there.
Is
Contender.
Is the F word fettuccine?
It's Alfredo.
Maybe it's food.
What?
It's weird because there was a British show from 2005 2010 called The F Word,
Okay.
but this is the
It's not
American version of that.
How
Like,
was the British show?
I didn't watch it.
What was it? Was it a cooking show?
Should we pod the British show?
No, maybe we should do both. They're
Is
good
this
there.
related to the
Oh.
L word?
Yes. All right. Anyone got any Twitter plugs?
Nope.
Rob, James, Harrison.
Harrison Hoffman on Twitter.
You can marry TCCL at whatever.com.
And whatever.
I am at Twitter support at twitter.com.
You can follow me on Twitter at the Chris Lorenz. You can find us on Twitter at the DP.
No,
the other
what are you? You
podcast.
plugging the wrong one.
Who put this on? You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us at whoputthison@gmail.com. See you guys next time.
Peace.